Hey everyone, in the following podcast you'll hear the edited audio of Sienna's live Instagram interview with writer and activist Shaniqua Benjamin. Are you looking for inspiration to start that writing project? Then this is definitely the podcast for you, as Shaniqua shares some advice for budding writers and discusses her passions for young artists. I hope you enjoy it.
So could you first introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background and what you do as an artist?
So I'm Shaniqua, I'm a spoken word poet, I'm a writer, also the founding director of an organisation or a platform. It's an organisation, but I like to call it a platform, called Young People Insight CIC. That's all about empowering young people through creativity, conversation and writing. And I do this because I'm a creative. I've always been a creative all my life. I've always ever wanted to do art. I've always loved writing, but dabbled in fashion design at university, didn't quite work out. But after that, went back to writing again, and I've always wanted to give back to the community and give to people. It's grounded in my faith. It's all about loving others and serving others. So it's really important for me to do that. And YPI, my organisation, was a way to do that. But I do that through working with people at crisis or helping at shelter during the festive period or just giving people a listening ear, really. So that's me in like the smallest nutshell there is, in all honesty.
Thank you. So could you first, you said you've always been a creative. So why did you first get into writing? Why did you choose that as your kind of creative outlet over other art forms? And why do you think that passion has continued to such an extent that you founded Young People Insight?
I've always loved, I think it started with a love of books. Like I've always loved books. Reading is my favourite thing to do. And I remember being in year one and at school, and we had been asked to write a story inspired by where the wild things are. And I remember staying in playtime to finish this short story because I was just loving writing so much. And I've just always just loved it since then. There's just something about that way of expression and just using your words and just language and just being able to not only have knowledge, but you can fall into different places when you read those books. I've always really loved that. And I think that passion just always just stayed with me growing up at university on a fashion design course. I enjoyed writing the essays more, which is weird, which have said something. I love being able to tell stories as well, whether it's through telling someone else's story for an interview or telling a story through a poem or telling a story about something happening in the world through an article or a blog post. I just love that, and I think that's just carried through in my career, whether that is through starting YPI, because I started as a blog, like before the conversations and the poetry nights came, it started as a blog, and then it's just carried through everything I do, where it's come to a love of poetry now. I didn't used to love writing poems, I used to hate poetry, but then this for me is the real bit of writing I've always wanted. I still write other things, I write articles and blogs and stuff, but poetry is this is the one for me. I found it. This is the avenue of writing that is gonna get me to write books, which is all I wanted to do as well, was write books.
It's amazing to hear how that kind of stemmed from the beginning of school to now, as you say, finding the pinnacle of your writing. And some people find that early, some people find that late, but for you it seems like it's been just at the right time. Okay, so moving on, could you tell us a little bit more about why you founded Young People Insight in the first place and what your aim is with this project?
Oh my gosh, my darling YPI. So YPI started as a blog in 2014 when I wanted to write about young people and some of the issues they were facing, share their stories and positive things about them, and just get their voices heard. Often young people's voices just aren't often heard, and if they are heard, it's told in a way that isn't them. So I really wanted to change that. And then as I was developing this blog, and mostly it was me writing anyway in the beginning, it was like, I want to get more stories in, but also I want to get young people offline a bit more, we're online a lot. We're losing these really key communication skills. Also something really great about different people from different walks of life coming together and just having conversations, because we learn from each other. There's so much that I've learned being around people who are different from me. And I think I wanted to channel that because it opens your mindset, it gives you a better level of understanding and tolerance, and it just spreads love in the world, I think. All about spreading love in the world. So I started the platform, officially the platform, in 2016. I had my first discussion group in January, and then they evolved into being called the Kickback. And I had them ever since then. And then I wanted to bring in poetry, partly because I'm a poet and I wanted someone to perform, but also I wanted to give young people a space for them to grow and develop and make their voices heard through poetry and spoken word. So in November in 2016, I tested it out, had the first poetry night, called it Poetic Insight, and it works, and people wanted it. So I brought it back in 2017 for a year. So I was doing a monthly poetry night and a monthly discussion group. So people could just make their voices heard and just meet new people, develop friendships and connections, or be like, oh my gosh, you do that, I do that, let's work together, because young people have such potential, and I want them to realize we can do things together regardless of our age. So that was the key thing, to come together and, you know, communicate and develop confidence and realize you have got a voice and it is important and you have great potential to do more than you even realized.
So you say that you started it as a blog 2014, 6 years ago, and it developed into this platform in 2016.
Yeah.
What do you think, as like a young leader, seeing your platform grow and developing these in-person events over the course of a few years, what's that been like for you?
Oh my gosh, it's been nuts, like so nuts. Like, I genuinely can't believe that it's still here. Like, having the blog for 6 years isn't really a thing, because I had my own blog before that. But to be able to keep a platform going for the 4 years that it has, for me, it's huge. And to be able to see it grow, whereas when it first started, it was mainly friends and family and things like that, and people that I kind of knew from other places coming, which I appreciate that they've kind of stayed semi-constant. Like, you don't come regularly, but they'll pop up in certain things, or the big events they'll come, like celebrating our anniversaries and stuff, they pop up. But what was beautiful was people that I didn't know coming through, seeing organizations recommend people and put them through to that, to see the young people that I really wanted to reach, the poets who needed that boost of confidence, to see young people who were struggling in certain things in their lives, to see friendships being formed. These were the people I wanted. To see that happen was really amazing. And to have this impact in young people's lives has been beautiful. Like, people tell me they've developed confidence through YPI, to tell me that they've been inspired by YPI to go and do other things. Like, for me, to be a part of that journey has been the most amazing thing. And I've been able to keep it going. Like, people think I have a team. And it's sad for me, but I don't have a team. So I've been keeping this going like single-handedly. So to be able to do it for me is an amazing achievement. But to just have been part of these amazing young people's lives and going like from strength to strength, and to see it happen for years has just been amazing. And the doors that it's opened for me has been brilliant. There's so many things that I wouldn't have now and wouldn't be part of if it wasn't for starting this organization.
Sure. And that's actually a really good lead into my next question, which is about the impact that you've had as a result of this platform. So if your aim is to, you know, bring about change for young people, help them, encourage them to find their voice, if a young person wants to encourage their friends to be the change that they want to see, whether it's something to do with the environment or another cultural cause, what advice would you give them to like be that change and encourage their friends?
Thanks, girls, boss. I love that. But I would say change is tough, because I think people want to be the change, they have to have it internally. But I'd say to someone who wants to encourage their friends, like, think about what is important to you, what are you passionate about. Like, I think it's so key to have something you're important about, that is important to you, because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. So ask your friends, what is important to you? What do you really want to change? And also just say to them, just do something small. Like, if you want to make change, something small. Like, people think it has to be these huge, big things. It's not about that. Think about small, simple things that you can do, whether it's, do you want to join a particular voluntary group? Is it you signing up to mentor someone? Is it just little things where it's, you know, you see that someone is really lonely, just you go in to have a conversation with that person and smile at them can make a big thing. Or if you feel more confident, is it starting you a poetry night in your area? Is it you just starting, you know, a little kind of group? It's whatever you feel like you're able and want to do that. It can be as small, as big as you want, but remember that change isn't just a big thing. Change is about little small things that ripple and add to that. So I say, do something small, start small, and make sure that it's important to you and you're passionate about it. That's the key thing, because if not, it's not going to be great. It has to, for real change, for me personally, it has to come from the heart of the person, because there's a lot of things that people are doing and it's not coming from their heart, and you can see that. To make sure that it really is coming from your heart and it's important to you.
Wonderful, thank you. Change needs to be genuine, I think, which is definitely something that you highlighted, and I appreciate that. My next question is like just about how you found lockdown and whether you are working on anything new at the moment, and any new writing or poetry projects, and yeah, just what the last kind of 4 months have been like for you.
Lockdown has been an interesting experience. At the beginning of this, oh my gosh, I loved it. I needed a break. I've been doing so much different stuff. I needed time to calm down and slow down, let my head catch up with itself. And I was thriving. I was doing great. I was figuring out things about myself. I was writing like a lot. Like I was writing loads when this first started. It was brilliant. I needed that. And then I don't know what happened. Like this lull started happening. I started feeling really, really weird. I started feeling really strange. I don't know what was going on. I started wondering if I'm missing people, if I'm missing just, getting more hugs or having face to face conversations, because I thrive off that. And then something started happening with me creatively. I've started to go down creatively and struggling to write, like feeling lack of confidence in my work and my art, which has been really strange and kind of scary, because I don't know, I started feeling less confident in my writing and really, really struggling with that. And I don't understand why. I don't know where insecurities are coming back from. I don't understand what's going on. But it's just trying to push through and push through. And I had this amazing time doing these things called Right Now with an amazing poet called Debris Stevenson. If anyone needs, go follow Debris Stevenson if you're into poetry. She is freaking brilliant. And those kept me really going. And she stopped and came back again, and that really helped. And then it stopped again, and I felt really weird again. I'm thinking, why is this happening? But she pulled out some really great content from me. So I have all these brilliant poems now from that, poems that I can develop from that. Like when I get ready to do it again, I have loads of content. And then she got me to write some more poems as well through her process that I can contribute to my collection, because I'm working on this collection. I've been working on literally years, and it's supposed to be a collection and then a pamphlet and then a full collection. I don't know what it's going to be at this moment in time, but I've been working on this collection, which is just so important to me. And there was certain other things that I was meant to go back to my spoken word show, because I was meant to do like a little preview of a show in March, but then lockdown happened, so it didn't happen, which was for the best because it involved touching people and stuff, so it would have been a bit weird during Corona. But I meant to go back to that again, and I haven't, but I know I will. But right now there's a lot of things that are changing for me, and a lot of things that I'm processing, so I'm having to calm down, slow down in certain areas, think about what am I working on and what can I leave to work on right now, so that I don't get overwhelmed, because I get overwhelmed and then I get stressy and then I just can't work, and then it's really bad cycle that continues and nothing gets done.
Yeah, thank you. It's very encouraging. Just I think creativity is such a process where I think a lot of people had the same experience where you start lockdown, you're like, a break, I'm just going to get so much done. And then you start getting stressed out when you don't get stuff done. And it's just like a big snowball effect. But yeah, very relatable. I wonder if you have any advice for people who want to start writing. Maybe they've had that kind of experience over the past couple of months where they're in a bit of a desert phase and they don't know where to go to find new inspiration. What advice would you give them so they can continue being artistically motivated?
If you want to start right, I think it depends again how you work or you as a person. Like little things like if you get inspired by art, pick up a book and read something. Like I this amazing masterclass last week with a poet called Peter Khan, and he was saying like there's no such thing as writer's block if you're struggling to write right now. It's this cool thing where you look at different poems and you look at the themes that are going through, and then you kind of, from that theme, it inspires a free write. So read something, maybe the theme may inspire you, maybe some lines may inspire you, listen to songs that, take a lyric from that and see where you go. Or I know it's tough now, but it's thinking about certain people you're around. Like I know for me, I've got a muse. And when I'm with him, like I just write loads. Like often I write more than, he says, but when you're with me, you write more than you talk. And it's like, because being with him inspires me. I haven't seen him properly for months. And it's just like, I just need to be around him because he just, for some reason, being around him just gets me writing. So it's little things like, maybe have that person around you that can get you writing. Take a walk and observe surroundings, or even little things like conversations. And then, or if you just want to, whether it's poetry or a story article, just start writing, like without pressure, like whatever comes to your head or whatever's in your heart, just write and write and write, and then see what you can pick out from that. It's just you taking whatever it is that you need, whatever is going to get you writing again. So read, watch, offload your head, or just start from where you're feeling and just don't stop it. Don't put too much thought into it. That's what I would say. Don't overthink things when it comes to writing. That's the worst thing to do. Just don't overthink it. Just enjoy that process and just write in your own voice. Find the voice of you. Take this time to find your voice. Don't try to write like anyone else. Don't try to be this perfect writer, whatever that means. Find what your voice is, what you're passionate about writing about, what you enjoy writing about, how you enjoy writing.
Definitely. I think it's so important just to let it flow. As you say, don't overthink it, and just, yeah, take the time to find your voice. And on that note of being inspired by different artworks in this time, whether it's movies or books, what have you been watching and reading and listening to over the past few months? And do you have any recommendations for us?
Oh my gosh, so much recommendations and great stuff. Like, it's, I've been trying to actually like properly allow myself to give more time to read and watch stuff, because my thing was like, this is time to watch things I haven't been able to watch, and actually have more time reading. Like, yeah, I need like more of that. So definitely with books, I've been having a great time with books. Like, so the Young People's Laureate for London, the current Young People's Laureate for London, Teresa Lola, she has an amazing book called In Search of Equilibrium, which genuinely you're so in love with. Just like, she has these amazing modern references and this beautiful way of writing, and these, it's just really, really cool. And there's a book by a beautiful Colombian poet called Giovanni Questet by Outspoken Poetry Press, who are amazing. It's I think it's songs to Ophelia and other poems. And oh my gosh, it's like this big book of poems, but they're usually quite short, and it's amazing because they have the Spanish and then the English translation next to it. And it's about Colombia, and it's just the most stunning imagery. Like, the more I read it, the more I fell in love. Like, I cannot recommend that book enough. I finally read some Maya Angelou, which is bad, but I used to hate reading poetry, so now I'm like making up for that, which again was so relatable and really beautiful and really, really amazing. I'm currently reading Selena Godin's book. Oh my gosh, what is it called? It's got pessimist in the title. I've forgotten the title, but it's a really great book. She had a really good poem about periods, which was so relatable and so brilliant. And even just the way it was arranged on the page was really amazing. So I'd recommend those people, like, look up their books, their poetry, look up their videos, just amazing. And then I've been watching some brilliant stuff. I watched a documentary called The Defiant Ones, which is about Jimmy Ovine and Dr. Dre, and like their relationship over the years, and what they do in music, which was brilliant. They had people like, they had Patti Smith, and they had Snoop Dogg, and then they have Nas, and then they have Bono, and then they have Bruce Springsteen and Stevie Nicks, like all these people from the music world, and their stories are like insane. It's brilliant. Like, if anyone's into music, watch that. Like, it's epic and so, so, so brilliant. I've also been like, my head's been like, if you can take violence and gore, which I was really struggling with recently, watch Gangs of London, really interesting show. And The Last Kingdom, which I love, which is like, shows the history of England before it became England, when it was different kingdoms. So cool and interesting. Even though I got a bit disturbed by continuously seeing arrows in people's eyes, but it was a very violent time, and it's interesting to see differences and how this country like came into being. And with that, it's just like, you can just see, like, people keep saying English is not really English. English is made up of Saxons and Danes and Brits and all this different stuff, which is so interesting. And I'm watching This Is Us, which makes me cry all the time. Do you watch it too?
Genuinely cry in every episode.
Tell me about it. It's beautiful, and it's made me fall in love with Milo Ventimiglia. I don't want to mess up his name. Anyway, with Milo Ventimiglia all over again after Gilmore Girls. It's just such like a brilliant show. But yeah, I recommend all those things, guys. Watch those shows, watch those documentaries, like, read those books, like, enjoy this time. Like, I have to get onto The Last Dance by Michael Jordan and the Bulls. I love basketball, so I'm ready to watch that. I haven't got there yet, but I'm making my way towards it. But yeah, guys, check out those things, check out those TV shows, check out those books.
Thank you for the recommendations. A lot of variety there. You've got your
I'm an eclectic person in my life, so everything is very, like, I watched the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World film series, which I really liked as well. It's just random. I'm just random. Like, I just love all kinds of things. But again, it makes things, I learn different stuff, and yeah, I just love the variety in life. Otherwise, it'd be boring.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Shaniqua. I just have one more question for you today, and it's, where can people go to find out more about you, your work, and Young People Insight?
Okay, so if you'll find out about me, follow me on the Insta. You know, I'm here, Shaniqua Benjamin _, or follow me on Twitter, because again, it's kind of a different kind of vibe for me. It's very much where I write and vent more certain things in my head. And so that's SHANQ Marie, if you want to follow me on Twitter. And like I said to everyone, Google me. If you Google Shaniqua Benjamin, you can get like performances, aspects of my story, articles I've written, articles about me, all this sort of stuff. If you want to check it out, follow that, and follow Young People Insights on Instagram as well. We're having a live conversation again in 2 weeks' time on Tuesday, the 18th of August, which is all about YPI. I haven't done that before, but there's a big announcement coming, so please tune in if you can and if you're free. And yeah, just look out for more news because I have exciting stuff coming up and exciting announcements coming up. So follow me if you want to find out everything, otherwise you'll miss it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Very exciting to hear your future projects. And I just wanted to say to all our viewers that if you want to support Voice so we can continue creating this kind of content and more digital content, then please do consider becoming a friend, and you can go to voicemag.uk/friends to find out more. And yeah, thank you so much, Shaniqua, for everything today and all of your insight about writing. I have really appreciated it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
All right, speak soon. Have a great day.
Yeah, bye.
Today's episode was made possible by Voice Magazine, an online platform for young people interested in art and culture. You can read Voice over at voicemag.uk and find it on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook as VoiceMagUK. The Voice contributors are also on Instagram over at voice.extra. If you are looking for another podcast to listen to, the contributors release the Voice Extra podcast every Saturday, where they talk about the pieces they've produced and the culture they've been enjoying. If you like this podcast, please consider helping us to make more with a donation of any amount at voicemag.uk/donate. Thanks to Kevin MacLeod for the use of the track Thief in the Night. You can find more of his work in incompetech.com. Tom Inniss was the executive producer.